Today we're looking at the Porsche Cayenne. This is the base model, just called Cayenne. There's many more iterations of this vehicle. There's the diesel, the S, the GTS, the turbo, it goes on and on and on, but this is the one that sells the best because it has the most accessible price point. In Canada, it starts at just around $67,500, but don't let that fool you. If you want a Porsche of any kind, whether it's a car or an SUV, you have to add lots of options. Everything is a la carte with Porsche. You want to have different wheels, different interior features, you have to add them all on kind of one at a time. So what is great about the base model Cayenne? Well, I had one of these vehicles, the previous generation, and I had it for 6 years, basically bought it new and drove it for 6 years, and I had zero trouble with it. All I did was put gas in it and get it serviced regularly every year, and my mechanic, who works on all kinds of Porsches, told me that the most reliable Cayenne is this one, the one with the Volkswagen-derived VR6 engine under the hood. So changes for the facelifted Cayenne, they went with bigger headlights, bigger openings to the front grille. They gave ridges on top of the front fenders, making it look a little bit more like the Macan. They tried to mimic the shape of the hood, kind of like the Macan once again. They also included standard LED running lights that look fantastic. They were originally in the turbo years ago. Around the back, it's a square looking car now. They raised the bumper up, they integrated the exhaust tips into the lower valance. The car looks sort of more anchored and square and kind of like the previous version of the Cayenne. Inside, even though this car hasn't been changed much on the inside, it still is at the top of the class. Now, I've owned 3 Porsches. I currently have an older air-cooled 911. Even back to those old cars, one thing that Porsche did well and continues to do well with this Cayenne is the seating position, the way the cockpit is laid out. It's all very driver-centric, meaning that the instrument cluster in the middle is really there for the driver's use to get a quick glance and see what's going on. The tachometer is the most important thing on the dash. That's where you need to find out where your revs are. Speed with Porsche is irrelevant. They do have a speedometer there, but it's off to the left-hand side. They've gone with a new 3-point steering wheel, which is very nice and sporty. They've got new switchgear on there as well, so I really like that. And when you look at the center console, a lot of people might look at this and go, wow, that is really busy. There's a lot of buttons on there. And you know what? I would agree to a certain extent. A lot of cars now have cleaned all of this up. They've gone with a central controller. Porsche still has all of the buttons on the console. Now, the reasoning behind that, you want to be able to look down, access what you need with the flick of a button, and be on your way with their eyes back on the road. So that is the reason why they have that there, and I appreciate it. And after a while, it all becomes very second nature. Now, the one thing about this cabin is, other than the updated steering wheel and sculpted rear seats, they've gone to a more sculpted look to make it more comfortable in the back, and that's welcome. The head unit really hasn't changed, and we're starting to see much bigger screens. If you look at some of the BMW products or even the Lexus, they're huge, and this looks rather small. This is one area that Porsche is going to have to really update when the next full model cycle comes up for the Cayenne in a couple of years. Then you look at the way that the interior is put together. The finishing and the materials here really are first rate. Look at the beautiful aluminum accents. The switches are all perfectly put together. It's absolutely impeccable in here. I love the dash, and every single time somebody gets in, they go, wow, that's something. And even, you know, 5 years on now, the interior still looks modern and fresh. This is a perfect size vehicle for a family. I had this vehicle, 2 kids, my wife. We absolutely never had any complaints with space. It's big in there, and the back cargo area is large as well and has an automatic power tailgate. So the interior could use some updating, but it's still, in my opinion, right at the top of the class. Well, the base Cayenne has a V6 engine, but it's actually an old Volkswagen VR6 engine, same one that's been used in the Touareg for a long time. And this is a wonderful, wonderful engine, 3.6 liters. It has 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And I had the same engine in my Cayenne, and it was absolutely bulletproof. So that's the main thing going for it. It's been around for a long time. It's a known entity, and it's a real workhorse, and it does a good job. Now, the problem is, in 2013, Porsche came out with the Tdi Diesel version, and in my opinion, that basically nullified any reason to get this base model. The only reason is this car is $5,000 less. It starts at $67,500, and the Cayenne Diesel starts at $72,500. And that's the thing, is it's less expensive, but here's the thing. Just get the diesel. I know, you know, there's problems with the TDI engines with the Volkswagen Group. That is going to get cleaned up. Take my word on it. With this Cayenne, with this particular 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine, it's going to be all cleaned up. So what is this engine good for? It's good for a run to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.6 seconds. That's pretty quick, considering this vehicle weighs over 2,100 kilograms. Now let's get to the Porsche in general and what makes it a great product. First of all, it feels impeccably made. It feels so well made and put together, and it has above average handling. Now, you can get so many different versions of the Cayenne, from mild, the one I'm in here, all the way to wild with the Turbo S and the GTS. This one that I'm in really is a perfect family hauler. Somebody that likes the Porsche Prestige badge, likes a good sensible vehicle, and likes to not spend as much as you have to on some of the other versions. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it has auto start-stop to try and help with fuel efficiency. But here's the one thing, the other reason to get the diesel. This VR6 sucks gas, and it's probably going to be the last time they're going to feature it in this vehicle. They're probably going to go to a more modern V6, true V6 application. So it sucks gas, and that's the problem in the city. If you drive on the highway, it might be looking at, but my one got horrible gas mileage, and this one's not doing much better either. In my mixed use, I'm getting about the 16, 17 liters per 100 kilometers, and that's pretty bad. Now, what I love about the Cayenne is you have all of this utility in a luxury package, and it's a very tossable vehicle. The steering is light, but it rolls to a certain point, and then it feels very connected. You can make it absolutely go around corners like it's on rails. You need to order Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control, PDCC. And that has actuators actually on the roll bars that stop it from rolling over, and it makes a massive difference, but it's a spendy feature and a spendy option. So if you don't really need all of that, save your money. Now, I know there's going to be some haters out there when I suggest that really the one to get is not the VR6, the base model, unless you do a lot of highway driving. The one to get is the 3-liter TDI, the turbo diesel, because it really provides all the torque that a vehicle of this weight and size needs, and the efficiency. Now, I know that they've stopped right now, currently when this is being recorded, the sale of all TDI 3-liter diesels in North America in Volkswagen, Audi, and the Porsche Cayenne, but I guarantee you that's going to be cleaned up, and the diesel will be available for sale again, and that's the one, in my opinion, to get. Cayenne, love it, always have, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. To watch a full review of the Porsche Macan, click the picture on the left.